Hey everybody, how's it going? So today I would like to show you an Edsyn hot air station. So I recently said in a video when it comes to manufacturing that most of the stuff that is made in the US that I've tried for the repair industry, particularly hot air stations is what I was discussing, is really not only does it cost over $1,000 to get something that is American made that does the same thing a $200 or $300 Chinese item does, but it's actually worse. So I was pointing out the Pace hot air stations that have less features, less power, and cost literally 5 to 6 times as much money as my Atten, which is easier to set temperatures on. They have less nozzles available and so on and so forth. So someone actually saw that video at a company called Edsyn, and they sent me this package full of stuff, which because I was busy with other stuff, I did not put real time into to opening, but I would like to today. So I'm just going to read you what they sent me, and we're going to try it out. Now, one thing that I think is really important to go over before I actually get into this video is that I am obviously going to be incredibly biased. Why am I going to be biased? That's an excellent question. And I will show you in a moment once I plug in my HDMI cable and my other camera, which I thought I plugged in before I started the video, but I didn't because I'm a shitty content creator. Yep, straight up shit content creator right here. So this goes here. At some point, maybe I'll actually learn how to make a freaking video worth of shit. Yeah, I'll get another view of my desk. I actually don't have another large tripod here because, again, the whole sucking as a content creator thing. So we are going to use my chair as a, the chair. We're going to put this on the chair. Great job. Great job, you freaking dumbass. Oh, fuck. You're donating while I'm standing. Now I can't read it. Whenever I call you guys, it goes to iPad Rehab. Is there an issue? That means that we star 32'd you at some point in time. So we have star 32. We have star 32, which is we block your call if you call and you troll, you're annoying, or you just like ask douchey questions. And instead of just straight up dropping the call, at some point, I think on April Fool's, what we did is we set it up so that all blocked calls go to iPad Rehab. And I think I never turned it off. So there you go. So that's probably what that is. So at some point in time, you probably called and said something that resulted in us star 32ing you. And because it's funny, all those block calls go to Jess. So you probably called and were a dick or something, I'm guessing. You know what you did. Shit, I need to get another angle. I don't know what you did because I don't have a log system for this. It's not that really. It's not that, that involved. It just means at some point in time, someone star 32'd you. Yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much that. So I probably should turn that feature off, but I don't know. It's kind of funny. Jessa and I used to mess with each other a lot, and that was one of the ways in which I would mess with Jessa. I would... Okay, that is absolute shit camera angle, but that's what you get. Yeah, this is some real shit YouTube content creation right here, but that's if you expect even production from me by now, I don't know what you're saying. My tripod, my other tripod is at home, so I don't have the real tripod here, so I had to put that tripod on top of a chair. And yes. Okay, so let's just restart this because this is actually a shit video. We're going to restart this. We're going to do this from scratch. I just have to wait for that to go away so that I can start a serious video. Come on, comment, go off the screen. Thank you for the $4.99, but I must go on to the video. Hey everybody, how's it going? So in a recent video, I mentioned how lots of stuff is not really made in America anymore, and one of the points I made is with hot air stations and some of the soldering tools I use. If I want to buy a hot air station that's made in America, I can't buy a hot air station that is made in America that's worth a shit, because the only one I can find is made by Pace. It's over $1,000. It's about 4 or 5 times the cost of my Atten over here, which has more features, more power, has presets, has bent nozzles, but above all, it's 5 times cheaper. I mean, it's one thing if the American one is better, but if it's worse, I'm patriotic, but I'm not that patriotic. So this is a company over here that actually does make their stuff in America, and they sent me some soldering stations and some notes on it. Now, to be clear, I am going to be very biased when I make this, when I unbox this. And the reason that I'm probably going to be biased is that I make money when these sell. So I sell these things. We're getting, we're just about to sell through the ones that we have in stock at store.rossmangroup.com right now, which you probably can't find on Google because the jackass web developer I hired fucked up the theme and set the site to no follow. But we're fixing that anyway. But you can find these if you really fucking dig through store.rossmangroup.com. And we're going to probably sell out of the next 100 quickly as well, the way they're going. I make money when this sells. So obviously, I am going to be biased when I open this one. And it's something that's important that you know, is that even if this is a good company that makes good products, I'm going to have that bias in the back of my head because I get paid when I sell this. I don't get paid for selling Edsyn stuff. So that's just something to keep in mind while you're going through the review. I think it's really important to know when someone who's showing you different items may have a bias for whatever reason. Maybe they're friends with someone who owns the company. Maybe they make money when that thing sells. I don't know. Maybe they dropped a box with that product on their foot and now they irrationally hate it. Whatever it is, you should understand where biases lie. Mine is obviously going to be pro-Aten because I sell this device. However, it is one of those things where the reason I sell the device is because I actually like it. So we're going to read through this and let's see what we got. So it says here, firstly, I got an Edsyn pen. Check this out. They sent me a pen. It says 50 years soldering, desoldering, SMT, multitasking, fume extraction, Edsyn. It says, in line with your comments about the lack of American-made hot air stations, in your video, it says, a bike video of New York City, and as promised in my recent email, I have put together a gift box containing a US-made hot air station with a selection of tools that are popular with repair technicians and those in production lines. Edsyn does not just assemble in the United States, but has been manufacturing and producing products for the electronics industry since 1961. We are fully aligned with the right to repair philosophy, and it is refreshing to know that there are individuals out there like you that still believe that products and devices should not only be built to last, but there should be easy access to spare parts for maintenance and repair. Your gift box contains the following Edsyn products. And also, again, when we're talking about bias, I make money when I sell these Aten stations because they sell on my website, but these people sent me this thing for free. So there's actually, honestly, there's bias all around here. So it's up to you how much you trust my opinions on this as I open. 1036 temperature-controlled SMT hot air station. FX-F11 Fuminator benchtop fume extractor. DS017, the original deluxe, solder pole desoldering hand tool, WP812 high temperature work pad, various tips and accessories for hot air rework. Edsyn is proud to be the first patent hot air technology, and please be assured, these products are backed by an 18-month warranty and are produced and manufactured at our factory in Van Nuys, California. I am confident you will enjoy this kit as it contains some of our most popular selling tools. I have also enclosed manuals and supporting information to maximize their upkeep. Your honest feedback is appreciated, and I thank you in advance for taking the time to look at what we do. Please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions. Warm regards, Julie Fortune, Sales and Marketing. Edsyn, the right tool for SMT rework. This is pretty much a commercial, so I'm not going to bore you with the commercial. This is a commercial, and then they give you their general line catalog from 2010. So I'm guessing some of this stuff has not been changed for a while. It's interesting that their soldering station has the same number as HAKKO. So I'm kind of wondering, did HAKKO copy Edsyn, or did Edsyn copy HAKKO? Also, I'm kind of curious if I'm pronouncing this shit right. Is it Edison or Edsyn? I don't know. They probably knew that I can't pronounce names right when they chose to send me this thing. So you got some books, you got some promotional materials, you got some pictures of what looks like they talk about the innovations at the company. They got pictures on the assembly line. I don't code from it seems like 1921 over there. You got all these different pictures of products. Honestly, this is not the stuff that excites me. What I want to do is I want to open the box and take a look at what they have in here and how these tools work. I'd also like to look up their price. I'd like to see what they sent and how it works and all of this beautiful stuff. So we are going to get started. This is actually really cool. Manual, 0 out of 5. You need to read those. Yep. It's a manual. Who needs a manual? So the first thing we're going to do here is a bunch of stuff in this gift box, actually. There's a lot of stuff here. They even gave me a name tag. They gave me a name tag. Oh, what is it? Actually, no, this is not a name tag. This is Julie Fortune's... Okay, I thought this was a name tag. It's a business card for Julie Fortune, who does sales and marketing. How you doing, Julie? So this is going to be a business card. So, I mean, this is a nice freaking box that they sent. So the first thing we got over here is Edsyn bringing innovative ideas to life. Now, check this out. I think they... This is... Yeah, is this a knife? I think they actually sent me a knife that I could use to open the box. I don't know if this is a knife or a spudger or whatever. I don't know, I got my own X-Acto right here. So first thing to do, which way is up? As Barry White would say. Unboxing. Okay. What do we have? Okay, we got a bunch of stuff in here. I suck at unboxing. I definitely unbox more like EM3. I unbox kind of like AVE does usually, as you can see from how I toss shit on the desk. I'm definitely in, like if you watch AVE unbox that $400 or $500 blender, like that's how. Like I really have no patience for waiting to unbox things. Like, I don't know what this is. Is this a coffee holder or something? Okay, that's kind of confusing. We'll see. Ooh. Okay, I like... You see these switches? This is very 1970s here. I like this. Ah, that's a... Hear that? It's not even like a... That's a nice low-frequency sound as you flip that switch. That's fucking fancy. Oh, man. That's... I like that. That's sweet. Okay. Gotta say, that is sweet. That is sweet. Alright, what do we have here? Hot air. You can actually see resistors that are through hole. Whoa, look at that. There are through hole resistors in this. That's kind of weird. Okay, so we've got, it looks like there's an air pump over here. So maybe, I forget, which way is out and which way is in? I should probably read the manual, but I really, really don't want to read the manual. I hate reading manuals. Okay, flow. Okay, this is the suction over here. Because see, it says flow and it has an arrow. See over here, it has flow and an arrow. And over this way, on this side, we have... Shit, this one also says suction. So maybe this one is for suction. But it's... So what is... Which one's the hot air and which one is the sucker? I guess I'm the sucker. Okay, this is hot air. This is a hot air. But this one... This thing looks like a sucker, not a blower. Unless I'm missing something. I should probably just give in and read the manual. You guys know my take on this. I really, for anything that's kind of basic, I'm really against having to read a manual. I think it should be somewhat self-explanatory. But I am not very smart, so I... Okay, so what plugs in where here? Hello. Because I gotta say, and maybe I'm just being biased and stupid, but this thing is literally like take out of box, pull, boom, and you're ready to go. You know, same thing with the Quick. The Quick is the same thing. Like you take it out of the box and it's just blatantly obvious how it's hooked up. I don't want to read the manual. I shouldn't have to read a manual to use a hot air station. Come on, man. Also, where does this thing go? Does this... I think this goes here. I'm very, very... Yeah, I think this thing slides in over here somewhere. Like this. Okay. And this is going to be what holds your station. So then this is going to go in here, I believe. Okay. So that goes in there. All right. Then this is going to plug in to the front. Now we just have to figure out where you plug this thing into. Oh, shit. Something just fell off. What is this? What the fuck is this? Where'd this thing come from? Oh, shit. Yeah, something just fell off. Okay, so this, I think, just fell off of here. I don't even know what this thing is for, but it just came off. Fuck. I don't think that's supposed to come off. What's this? Anybody know what this thing is? What is this thing? That just fell off. I use the quick decoder just because I don't need, like, honestly, it still works. So I'm going to use that quick until I kill it. Shit. What do I do with this? I think I broke it. I broke it. Ah, fuck. What is this thing for? Like, this doesn't want to stay on. So see, it's kind of like... But it doesn't click. It doesn't really do anything. I don't know what this is doing here. Gargle my balls, Christian Federico. I will not read the manual. I protest. No, but what is this thing? What does this do? But it's just like, huh? What do you mean this is what happens when you don't read the manual? I picked it up and the shit fell off. I don't see how this is air pressure control because it's not even attached to anything. How would this control airflow when it's not actually attached to anything? Or did this just break on me? I'm kind of wondering if this broke on me. Should snap on by the looks of it. Yeah, like, am I missing something? Okay. What? Yeah, let me find a manual. I give up. This does not... Okay, here it has that little... that thing that, you know, that volume knob kind of looking thing. You see the rainbow? That thing, it looks like it would be a flow regulator. But the thing is, it doesn't attach... It doesn't do anything. So what's confusing here is that, like, this doesn't turn, like, there's no button, there's no movement or anything here. So, like, how is this regulating anything? It has a cutaway in the knob, and turning it closes or opens the airflow. Yeah, but it just falls off like that? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it just falls off like that? I mean, like, I picked it up. Like, that... Okay, I realize I'm a moron. I get it. I really do. I'm not saying that I'm not an idiot, but still, like, I picked it up off the desk. I did this, and it falls off. Like, what the Can someone... I'm using it wrong. Perhaps I am. Yes. All right, we're gonna read the materials because this is confusing. All right. Your gift is enclosed. Thank you, Edsyn. Okay. Production ready and economical. Model 1036 self-contained SMT hot air station is ideal for an economical but efficient option for SMT devices or rework. The built-in air pump makes it perfect for lab-type environments or smaller workshops where shop air is not available. Hot air has the advantage of being able to navigate tightly. Okay, this is marketing. Let's see. Let's get to manual. No. Yeah, this is marketing wankery. Okay, maybe it's in the book. We're going to open the book. 1 second, someone's blowing up my phone. Do you have any time a little... Oh. Do you have any time a little bit later? Question mark. Thank you. Period. Stop blowing up my phone. Stop blowing up my phone. Okay. Let's go up to here. What do we have here? This is marketing wankery. Marketing wankery. Marketing, 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 catalog, nozzles, marketing, more marketing. This is not a manual. Okay, let's see what else comes in the box. So, very heavy on the marketing, light on the how to use it. Okay, we know this is what Google's for. Yeah, who delivers manuals in the box anymore? We're in the modern age. So let's see, Edsyn 1036 manual. What do we find? Edsyn manuals. I can't believe I'm reading a manual for a hot air station. Like, I get the read the manual thing, but why? Okay, here we go. File Edsyn 1036 instruction manual. Current. Is this it? Here we go. This looks like it. Alright, so let's read. Why the fuck does this little thing over here fall off? Maybe the manual will make that obvious. Power switch, pump indicator, sponge holder, low static air filter, fuse, air control valve. Okay, so this is an air control valve. Again, it does beg the question, why does it fall off when I turn the station around? Like, this is the thing, when people say read the manual, why don't you read the manual? A manual is not going to tell you things like this. Like, a manual is not going to say, oh, by the way, here's why this thing falls off and you turn it around. Manuals, like, the valve is in the plastic bag. Let's see. The three very important factors involved when using it: amount of air output, temperature, blah, blah, blah. Do not point at anyone or anywhere. Hot air will burn. The holder is on backwards. All right, we're going to put that on the other way. Wait a sec. No, the holder is on the right way. You guys are on crack. No, it doesn't fit on the other way. Okay. Hot air station. Hot air tool. All right, which one do we plug this into? Caution, hot air will burn. No shit. Changing tips, reworking SMDs. Okay, which one do I plug it into? The left one or the back one? Do I plug it in the left or the back? Left to the back. Nope. You're going to tell me where to plug it in? You'll tell me all the materials of its construction. Where do I plug it in? The left or the back? The left or the back? The left or the back? So what I'm saying here, are you going to build another yellow fireball? Yes, yellow, but not a fireball. So you have two places to plug in hot air here, right? So you have this air valve over here. You have this one. And then you have this one. And then you also have this fucking thing that keeps falling off every time I move it on the desk because made in America, I guess. So I want to figure out which one I plug this thing into. So I'm going to see if the manual says where I plug this thing into. So let's see. So for hot air, turn off air and place tool in pod. Okay, yeah, no shit. Come on, where do I plug it in? Specifications, changing tips, install the proper tip, using this pull wire, put the pull wire and deleted the SMD, and anchor to pull wire, and what the fuck? Have the proper tip installed, adjust air to 3 or 4 psi, set temperature to 700 F. Yeah, but where do I plug it in? Do I plug it in the left or the back? The left or the back? Left or the back? Do I plug it into the left or the back? I'm just going to plug it into both at this point. Oh, here we go. Install hot air tip, place the center of the thermocouple. God damn it. Turn temp control A, flick. Turn on air. Okay, you know what? The manual genuinely does not seem to answer my question. Scroll to the section with the picture of the station. This is the picture of the station. And this is the hot air over here. This is the hot air tool, but it's plugged into the Made in the USA circle. It's plugged into the Made in the USA circle. Here, there's no hot air tool. Okay, air control valve. It doesn't appear to be acknowledging that there's a vent in the back of it, because there is a vent on the back of it, but it's not pointed out in the picture. There is an arrow in the valve, but both of the arrows in the valves point inwards. So take a look. So see, this valve over here has an arrow that says flow. So this says flow in. So if I attach hot air here, it's not going to blow air out. It's going to suck it in. And over here, you have another one where it says flow, and this is also sucking air in to here. It's not blowing out. So neither of these two, not this one nor this one, blow out. These two both suck air in. Your pod is on wrong. Let's see. So if... Okay, pod. Okay, so where is hot air output? Because you see, you have... I'll try that again. I'll try this again. So the flow says this way, which would be sucking in. This one also has flow arrow pointing. Yeah, it's focus. Focus, you piece of shit. Focus. Yeah, flow this way, so this is also sucking in. So both of these are sucking inwards, so I don't see where the air is going to come out. But at this point, I'm just going to say fuck it and plug it in, because the manual makes no sense to me, and I don't understand what the hell this thing is doing. So we're going to plug it in. Arrow on the side is wrong. Okay. We're just going to plug it in and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? It's not a lithium battery, right? All right, so let's plug this shit in. All right. Arrow in the manual shows differently. Never trust the manual. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? My friends, what's the worst that's going to happen here? All right, so we plug it in. Okay, this is cool. You got a nice power switch. Vroom. Okay, I'm going to attach this over here. We're going to see if the arrow is wrong after all. Now, I think I finally understand why it says don't point at yourself. So remember how the manual keeps saying on every other page, don't point it at yourself? It says, do not point tool at anyone or anywhere. Hot air will burn. However, since I have no way to tell if it's blowing or sucking, because this makes no sense, I have to point it at myself so that I can see if it's blowing. So I'm going to point it. I'm going to do the opposite of what the manual is telling me to do, because the manual doesn't tell me how to blow this shit out of here. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to point it at myself. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, it is blowing hair out, but this is... It only blows air out when I push this here. So this is the problem that I have. Let me show you. I'll try to make sense of this. So it's on, but here, listen to it. So I have to push on this. See that? Hear that? I take my thumb off, it's no longer blowing. I put my thumb on, and it's blowing. I take my thumb off, and it's not blowing. I put my thumb on, it's blowing. Not blowing? Blowing. Not blowing? Blowing. Here, I'm gonna unplug the actual iron itself so that it's gonna be blowing cold air instead of hot air. This way I don't burn myself. So, vacuum leak. Yes, so this thing over here. So this thing over here does not appear to stay on. And this appears to be a big part of the issue. So this has to stay pushed on there. But it's broken. Here, look, did you hear that? Because I can't show you the pressure coming out of this. I can't really show you the pressure coming out of it. What I can do is you can hear it. So listen. I push, it's blowing. I don't push, it's not blowing. I push, it's blowing. It's not blowing. It's blowing, it's not blowing. It's blowing, it's not blowing. Yeah, so you have to cover this little slot over here. So when you cover this little hole, it'll blow. See this, the little hole? So I gotta get something I can shove in that hole. Because this little, whatever the hell this thing is not doing the job at all. Yeah, this thing's pathetic. This thing is shit. Alright, so let's get a Q-tip or something we can shove in there. Yeah, I'm gonna get a Q-tip I can shove in there. There we go. There we go. It's fixed. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. That's what my mom would call Italian engineering right there. All right. So, there we go. Okay, now we got it. Now let's see how this thing works heating shit up. Okay, yeah, that feels like that's actually blowing much harder now. All right, so now I'm going to get a board that we can work on here. Because I got the air pump to work. You seem like... I take this. Alright, let me get a board. Let's see how this thing works. I'm going to give it a bit to heat up. I'm going to plug it in. Now, here's how you set the temperature, by the way. So on this hot air station, you set the temperature on it by doing this. So it's analog, totally analog. It's not like, so you literally turn this little dial with the little Edsyn arrow, which looks really cool and old school, to the temperature that you want. So a lot of the times I'm doing soldering around 840, so I'm going to turn it all the way up to there. And you can see everything in here. It actually looks really cool. Like you can see the resistors, the transistor, the PC board. It's all clear. It's really cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to do some basic micro soldering. And let's see how this thing works. Let's say removing some resistors around the ISL 6259. Alright, let me just fix my camera because that looks like shit. And I'm also going to fix this a little bit. Alright, let me turn my fume extractor on. Alright, now I've turned the temperature of the iron up almost all the way here. So as you can see, just so you guys know where I'm setting it at, so because MacBooks are really, they have a lot of thermal mass around the ISL 6259 area, I've turned it all the way up to past 800 degrees to its max. It's turned up to its max. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so I'm going to try and remove, let's say, this capacitor over here. Alright. So it's got some power because it blew something off. But it doesn't really want to blow that one off. How about this? Alright, it can blow... It's got the power to remove stuff like that. Let's try a QFN. So we're going to try a QFN. This is a TPS 51125. Now one thing here is that the nozzle for this thing is really, really small. Yeah, this is not removing this at all. Also, the other thing to notice here is the way this is set up. So, with a hot air station, you have to keep in mind that it's trying to calibrate itself so that this can be 400 Celsius with air flowing through it. So what do you think is going to happen when you turn the temperature, or when you turn it off immediately? If this was calibrated to be so hot that it would be 400 Celsius when there's air blowing through, that means if you turn it off and there's no air blowing through it, even though the heat is now off, the heating element's going to go to 500, 600, 700, 800. It's going to keep going up and up and up because there's no air going through it. So what the Quick does, and what the Atten 862 and the Quick 861DW do, is when you put this back in the holder, it automatically turns the heat off, but keeps the air going for about a minute. It does that so you don't destroy the heating element inside of here. This is legit, straight up, like this is as analog as it gets. So let me just show you with my other camera over here. So on this one, this is the Atten station I'm going to show you. Just go over here. Sorry for the shit video. But, so let's say I turn the thing on. So I pick it up out of the station and there's a little button that I hit on the side of it. It's this button. So look, see it's going to heat up. 50 Celsius, 100, 120, 300, 400, and so on. But watch what happens when I put it back in the station. See? It's still blowing. There's still hot air blowing out of it. You can hear that, right? However, the temperature's going down. So it turns the heater off, but it keeps the air blowing because if you don't have the air blowing, you're going to wind up destroying the station and the heating element. Now, what's going on here with this 1940 setup that you got going on, let's move the camera over. Sorry for not having a reel. If I wait till I remember to bring a tripod to work, I'll never go over this. So, this is... Where's the off button on this thing? So this is the base, and the base is going to plug in separately from the handpiece. So the handpiece has the heater on it, but the base has the compressor, right? So if I turn off the power to the pump, well, this is still hot, right? So this is going to burn up and die. So I need to unplug this each time I want to put it back, to my unless I'm missing something here. So perhaps I could do, if I turn power off, I may be turning off power to the heater, but I'm also turning off power to the pump, in which case I'm going to destroy the heating elements in this very quickly. So what I need to do every time I want to put this down, unless I'm missing something, and if I am missing something, please do let me know. I need to physically unplug this. I need to physically unplug the heater, wait for this thing to cool off for about a minute, and then turn power off here, because there's not a switch over here for the heater that I can see. I have a switch for power, which is going to be for pump and heater. I'm just going to get this a little closer. Again, sorry for being a shit content creator with the angles and all. So I have a switch for power, which is going to be for the pump as well. See, when I do that, it turns off the heater and the pump. And I have a switch for the pump. But where's the switch to turn off the heater? Because the way this should work is I should be able to turn off the heater and then turn off the pump a minute later. Now, even if this station did not do it automatically the way this one does, as you saw, this one does it with a Hall sensor in here. This is a Hall sensor. So I turn it on by hitting a button over there. I pick it up. Now there's a Hall sensor in the unit and there's a magnet in the base so that when I do this, the heat just turns itself off. It's not heating itself anymore, but it's still going to blow air through it to make sure that it cools off for a minute. Now, in order to emulate this function to extend the life of the unit on this station, and again, if I am missing it, please do let me know. I need to physically unplug the iron from the base unit each time. I don't know what to say about that. Like, there's no little button here for heater. I mean, you have a button for power and pump. Now, maybe there is a switch for a heater on the back. Maybe there's a switch for heater somewhere that I can't see. But if you put these nice, fancy, schmancy, beautiful, lovely-looking switches up here, why can't you make another switch for heat? I don't know. It's just one of those. I have a feeling that the heating element on this is probably going to take a lot more abuse than the heating element on, let's say, a Quick, an Edsyn, or a HAKKO FRA10 that all have this functionality built in. Because the HAKKO, the Quick, I don't even like the HAKKO. I think the HAKKO is a piece of shit. But the HAKKO has that functionality built in on the new ones. The Weller WHA900 does not have this functionality built in, and I was able to kill those heating elements way faster. I've never replaced the heating element on my Quick, and I've had that thing here for 3 years. The Weller, I replaced my heating element on that after, I think, about a year and a half or so, because when you turn that thing off, it just turns itself straight off. However, on the Weller WHA900, you have a knob for heat and air. So what you could do is when you put it back in the station, before you turn it off, you could just turn the heat off with the knob for a minute, leave it like that. And I guess you could do that on this one. You got to, go over here, and I don't even know if turning it all the way down turns it to off versus whatever. The other thing here is that at full heat and at full pump, and you can tell that I've adjusted it to full pump with my little, with my Q-tip modification over there, it's not able to remove TPS 51125. Now, I'm going to take a look in the box that they sent me and see if they have any larger nozzles, because I don't know if it's a function of the lack of airflow, or if it is a function of the tiny nozzle, perhaps both. And as you can tell if you take a look at this hot air station is really, really not designed for what I do. So I'm not quite sure if they watched my videos to see what it is I really work on before sending this. And I'm not going to assume the worst. I'm going to look in the box and see if they have any larger nozzles. But as you guys who watch my content regularly know, I'm removing chips that are like this size. I'm removing chips that are this size, or this size, or this size. So that most of my work is removing chips of this size, and this nozzle, what is this going to do against this? What is this going to do against this? You see where I'm coming from here? I'm not really sure how you're going to get much done with this nozzle that they give you here. Let me see what's in the... this really reminds me a bit of the HAKKO, I believe the 851. That was one of my first stations that I got back when I was a bit less informed about all this stuff. I got it really cheaply because it had, I think, a bad heating element, so I replaced it. But the problem is that the HAKKO 851 is really not made for this type of stuff. It is fairly low airflow, and it's a really tiny nozzle. You are never going to remove an ISL 6259 from a board with that thing, and I sincerely doubt you'd remove an ISL 6259 from a board with this thing either. You have in here, it actually comes with Loctite, a bunch of wrenches, and some other stuff. You have a fume extractor, but yeah, I don't see any other nozzles here. Now, let's just kind of go over... It's maybe for phones. I don't see you removing a TriStar with this. Actually, you know what? Let's be fair. So a TriStar is bigger than an LP8550. Let's see if this can remove an LP8550, because if it can, then perhaps it could be useful for cell phone repair. Yeah. One second. Is it what I think it is? Yep. Fuck. Okay. So this... Let's see if this can remove an LP8550. You know what? I'm just gonna walk into a hornet's nest right now. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna turn this off, and then we will continue. Dodged a bullet with that one. I dodged a fucking bullet with that one. Okay. Crisis averted. Crisis averted. Okay, back to where we were. Where were we before that? Crisis averted. Okay, so what I'm going to do, now, a lot of you in the chat are saying maybe it works for phones. Well, perhaps it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the temperature up all the way. We're going to set the air up all the way, and we're going to see if it can remove an LP8550. An LP8550 is actually smaller than a TriStar, way smaller than a PMIC. Let's see if it's capable of doing that. So I'm going to power this thing on. Going to give it a minute or so to heat up. Going to give it a minute to heat up, because this looks like one of the older style heating element stuff here. And let's see what it can do. iPhone board has less thermal mass. Yeah, but you also got to consider like PMICs and stuff like that. You're never going to remove a PMIC with this. You know what? Yeah, I'll go out and get a board. Yeah, while this is heating up, let me find a fucked up iPhone board to get a TriStar from. All right, so what we have here is a piece of shit iPhone donor board. Here, you happy now? You happy? I'll do it with a freaking iPhone. All right, so let's get a... So we've let the station preheat itself for a while. Let's see what this is capable of removing from an iPhone board. So I'm going to go on the other side here. This iPhone board looks like it's seen much better days. And let's see what we can remove from it. So I've had this thing heating up here for about a minute. Can I take this off? Yeah, it's a little underpowered, but you can kind of make do with that on an iPhone. Airflow is as high as it goes, man. This is all the way turned up. So it's enough to move the resistors on the side, but it doesn't look like it's got enough punch here. Yeah, you can see I'm also ruining the top of the chip. You see that? So you see, this is where I'm keeping it there for too long because it doesn't have the airflow. So you're getting that minor, see that stuff on the side of the chip? We have gotten something is shoved in the airflow hole over there. So we are at max airflow. And I could feel it. This is the max airflow you're going to get out of the station. Thank you, Mario. Finally. Okay, that's underfilled, so that's not really totally fair. Underfill is a pain in the ass. Let's go down to where there's no underfill. Let's work on some stuff that's no underfill. We have the heat all the way up, by the way. For those curious. Also, we got to make this a fair comparison. Let's be real here, because if this was any other hot air station that I was testing, I'd be doing this with it. Okay, now it's a fair comparison. That's right. Why do you have to ask why? Why can't we just have nice things? Okay, this came off pretty quickly. Let's see, how about a bigger one? Let's get a Tigris came off pretty quickly. So on an iPhone, this actually looks like it's got some use. Again, I would not feel comfortable doing a PMIC with this thing, but on an iPhone, I think this thing is actually pretty nice. Like if you're doing iPhone hot air rework, this is pretty useful right here. Fuck. You guys can tell I haven't soldered on an iPhone in a long time. Alright, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. This is a piece of shit donor board for anybody wondering. I'm not in any hot water if I destroy this. However why did that message only show up on the screen for a second? I was soldering so I didn't see it. I'm sorry! I suck. It showed up while I was looking at the... There will be no free gifts from any manufacturer for the next 5 years. Oh yeah. What do you think of the $50 hot air stations that I stay away? I haven't... I tried one of the cheapest Addons back in the day, the 858, and it really wasn't that good. I was expecting the 862 to be shitty until I tried it. Damn it. Get back there, little capacitor. Okay, so this thing actually does pack a little bit of power with iPhones. I will give it that it has some power with iPhones. And the nozzle being really tiny, which you can't get on the... this is not really what the Quick or the Atten are made for. It is actually going to be in its favor when it comes to an iPhone. So on a small board, again, I don't think you could do a PMIC with this, but doing smaller chips with it is actually pretty nice. And you got this nice little rubberized grip over here. Now let's see what it can do with a MacBook. So this is an LP8550 chip on a MacBook. And let's see if it can lift this thing. See what you got. Let's see what you got. Come on. Come on. Okay. You can get an LP8550 off of a MacBook. Now let's try let's say a Thunderbolt power chip. You do not suck. There are some things you cannot control. For example, Paul Daniels is... that's mean. Now, we're being nice to Paul Daniels today. So you have this. Let's see if it can take off the Thunderbolt chip. So this area of the board is designed for handling, I think, around 13 to 16 volts or so. So it's going to be pretty heavily heat sinked. You piece of... Alright. So we're not exactly getting much of anywhere there. So I'm gonna... Now let's see what the Atten... Now to be clear, I'm not going to be unfair and use the board that I just heated for a minute. And getting that off, we'll grab another board. And let's see what the Atten can do to get that thing off. Just some little tiny bit of flux. You know, not too much, not too little. right off. I said remove the nozzle if you can do that. Alright, let's see how you remove the nozzle. How easy is it going to be to take off the nozzles on this thing? So it comes with this little tool set. Wonder if this little tool set is going to have much to do with it. How I remove nozzles. Are you cool yet? Alright. So I just took the nozzle off. So the nozzle, it comes with this little tool that you can use to remove the nozzle. You know, just a little basic wrench, and you just screw it off or screw it on. I have it unplugged right now, so I only have the pump going. Alright, so I'm going to plug it back in. And let's see if this is a bit more effective once I remove that nozzle. At removing some larger chips. We're going to try and remove some larger chips. Let's see if we can, let's say, get off a keyboard controller. That's being a little ambitious here. Awesome, the coder. I'm glad it worked out for you. Alright. I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. This is not as big as the Thunderbolt thing, and it's not nearly as... It doesn't have nearly the thermal mass the Thunderbolt thing does. Let's see if this can get it off the board. We're at max heat. The heat is turned up all the way on the station. I mean on the iron. Turned up all the way. Would it be mean for me to say this is not going anywhere yet and try the Atten? Yeah, this is going nowhere. So now on the other board, we're going to try the Atten. So I'm not going to use the same board because that would be unfair. Since this one's already preheated, I'm going to put the Atten to work. And there you go. And when I put the Atten down, it is going to immediately turn off the heater, but keep the air flowing going without me having to manually unplug it. Okay, so now here's the part of the video where we get to what I call Judgment Day. So let's see, what does this thing cost? I'm curious to see what this thing costs in contrast to an Atten. So I'm going to just move all this stuff to the side. I'm going to turn off the power to the hot air. Turn off my fume extractor. This little piece just jumped in the garbage, the little piece for the side. Okay, so we are going to get... Not test it with no airflow. Correct, I cannot test it with low airflow because I have no way of adjusting airflow because this little piece keeps falling off and I have no way of figuring out how to get this thing to work. So when I put this there, and even if I move it back and forth and jimmy with it a little bit, this thing fell off the moment that I turned the thing around on my desk. And when I have this there, it puts out so little airflow. Even when I have it turned all the way up, it puts out so little airflow that you're not even removing a resistor with it. So that is a big issue. So let's just take a look at what this costs. This is EDSYN 1036. Where can I buy this thing? And does it come with the iron? Okay. So here we go. Let's load TechniTool. So it looks like, according to the... Okay, so TechniTool has this thing for $682. Let's find some other websites here. So let's see. Jensen Tools, Howard Electronics, Test Equipment Depot. $680, $650, $647, $682. And then there's the Atten 862, which is not sure. Ah, finally. Look at that. This is what happens when you hire a web developer that's not a jackass. Now I'm actually back on Google. My site got owned for the last month. $253. Now I'm probably not even the cheapest vendor. So for this station, you're going to wind up paying over twice the money, twice the amount of money for something that's slightly less versatile. I really want to love American manufacturing. I want to be able to promote stuff that's made in America. Help me! Help me promote things that are made in America. I'm mildly disappointed for one reason, which is that I have about 500 or 600 videos posted to my channel where I show you the thermal mass of the boards that I work on and the size of the chips that I'm taking off. Yeah, you have to know that this is somewhat underpowered, and you got to know that if you're sending this to me, that I am going to wind up using it on the boards that I use on a regular basis, that I do videos on a regular basis, and you have to be aware that this station is not going to be powered well enough to be able to do that. On an iPhone, I was able to remove several chips. I think that on an iPhone, an LED driver, a TriStar, a Tigris, this is actually pretty nice. And the fact that it has a nozzle that is really small allows you to more easily direct the air to that chip without directing it to the chip next to it. Whereas with this station, even if you wind up using the smallest nozzle they send you, it's not anywhere near the size of this. So let's just zoom in on the camera so you can see. So the smallest nozzle that I've seen on the Atten is this one, and if you put these next to each other, you can see that it is way, way, way bigger than this one. However, I still think that you would be able to get by on an iPhone with this one just fine. Once you have experience, there's really no reason for you to be killing CPUs and, you know, getting solder balls popping out of chips on NAND and stuff like that when you're using the really, really small nozzle on an iPhone versus this. Again, if you're a beginner and you're really, really afraid of screwing something up, perhaps this would be a good safety, but at the end of the day, there's a couple of... My impression of this, and please do keep in mind when I say this, that again, I do profit if you buy the competing product, so please keep that in mind and tell me what you think of my thoughts below. Again, I do make money if you buy this from me versus buying the Edsyn. Keep that in mind. Is the things that are bothering me here is A, I have no way to turn off the heat when I turn the power off here. I have no way to turn off the heat before I turn off the pump. I think that that is important as someone who has gone through heating elements in Quicks, and not in Quicks, in the Weller WHA 900 I've gone through them, and also in prior HAKKOs. It is really important that you be able to turn off the heat but keep the air flowing for the longevity of the unit. That being said, I'm not really particularly impressed with this little thing over here. Like, again, like this, I get it. This is an airflow knob. Like, I'll be straight up. I think this sucks. This is just, like, again, I take it out of the box. I put it on the desk. I lifted it up, and it falls off. I mean, come on. Like, come on. I mean, this is... No, I mean... If this was a do-it-yourself project... Fine, I get it, but this is a real product that costs real money. This costs about, again, this costs twice as much as the Atten here, and like, yeah, this is just, I don't know, I I can't. I don't know. I don't. I find this acceptable if you're putting it together yourself. I don't find this to be that acceptable if this is a commercial product. This is like on the Atten. Here's the way I adjust the air. Like, see, like this is kind of a meme of American manufacturing. This is, and I'm trying to be generous here. I really am, because I appreciate the spirit of the company. I like the idea of manufacturing things in America. I want to see more things manufactured in America. I like the fact that the company supports right to repair. I appreciate that the company supports right to repair. But like, again, just to be clear here, if you want to see how it is that I adjust the airflow on my cheap, my cheap Chinese-made piece of shit over here, if I want to adjust the air, what I do is I hit a button. So it's going to be heating up. Yeah, like when I want to adjust the air on this thing, okay, I hit the temp button. You hit this. See this little button over here? This is called 2020. See this? Like there's no knob that falls off at the side of it to adjust the airflow. I just do this. I hit my little button, and then you got presets. Like this is the crazy shit right here. Like now we're getting into like 1980s car radio. We're really in the 20th century. I got presets. I got a button for adjusting stuff. Now, a lot of people, to be clear, would prefer to have a setup where they have a knob that they physically turn because they find that easier than buttons. And I hear that. I like knobs myself, but I've also had the pleasure of using stuff like the WHA 900 where they have knobs, but the knob doesn't immediately fall off. You kind of like got to pull it to come off. Maybe I'm focusing a little too much on that. Perhaps I am focusing too much on the whole knob falling off thing, but First impression. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm being fair to this item? Do you think I'm being unfair to this item? Do you think my bias is coloring my the way that I speak about the unit because I profit from selling an additional unit? Do you think that I'm not being harsh enough on it? Again, I do think that this would be useful for iPhones. It's got this. I don't know if this is rubber or something here. My WEP992 compares to, yeah, like this is, it does feel more interesting in the hand than this thing does. Like this just seems kind of like a more welcoming grip. And on an iPhone, if you're a beginner, you're probably going to appreciate the smaller nozzle. But the lack of flexibility to be able to use this with larger boards is definitely bothersome to me. I want to be able to use this with a MacBook. I want to be able to remove an ISL 6259. I want to be able to remove an TPS 51125. I want to be able to remove a Thunderbolt chip that is shorted, and I don't want to spend twice the money for less flexibility. So with the Atten, if you were to speak to Jessa Jones or Mark Schaefer or anybody or the Jason from SDS Telecom, they could make an Atten work for an iPhone. They could make a Quick work for an iPhone. There's no real problem once you are up to speed and an expert or even intermediate being able to do work on an iPhone with the smallest nozzle that comes in the pack. But regardless of how experienced you are, I don't see how you're removing a Thunderbolt chip from a MacBook board with this without incredible amounts of preheat, which is just, again, so now in addition to buying this for $650, now you got to buy the preheater for a few $100s, and now you're spending $800 or $900 to be able to remove a chip when you could be spending about $250 to $300 to remove a chip with this. So, and one of the things that really struck me in a conversation with Jessa, because I was really stressing the importance of American manufacturing with her, was she said, I don't care about that at all. I'm going to paraphrase what she said because this conversation took place several years ago. She said, I don't care about that at all. What Jessa said, I care more about creating 10,000 repair jobs in America than creating 100 manufacturing jobs, but then those 10,000 repair people don't get into repair because the tools cost 3 to 4 times as much. And as you and I both know, most people getting into repair get into repair from a place of poverty. I got into this when I had $200 in my bank account. How am I spending over $600 in a hot air station? Like, you see what I'm saying there? So I think that there's a lot of work to be done in this country. There's a lot of stuff that we need to be doing. There's a lot of jobs that could be available. But if you make the device 2 or 3 times as expensive and it's less flexible, now you have less MacBook repair people that have less money in their pocket, even if they did have the money to afford the station. So it's something to think about when we're talking about jobs being in America. I'm a fan of jobs being in America. I want to see more people fixing stuff in America. I want to see people going through dumpsters, going through recycling centers, going to schools, going to businesses where they threw away fleets of thousands of MacBooks that probably just need an LP8550. And you know what? If they make millions of dollars worth of devices work again and get computers into the hands of people that didn't have computers so that they could do productive work, and they use a Chinese hot air station to do it, I'll kind of live with that over them not getting into the field because there was that barrier in cost. Anyway, that's it. I'm pretty much rambling and repeating myself at this point. You let me know what you think in the comments down below. I don't often do product reviews because I kind of suck at it. And the stuff that I focus on and I notice is often not the stuff that that the people that want me to focus on or want me to notice. I wind up just going into these weird little tangents on little things that I notice that don't really seem to matter to other people. But that's about it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Cut! All right, time to eat some food. I'm hungry. It's a good thing we're done here. Yep, that's another. I feel bad doing this because, like, they sent me this really nice note with it and everything, and you could tell they wanted me. Like, they were excited. You could tell they were excited to have me check it out. They sent me all their catalogs, their marketing materials. They sent me a letter sent out by Julie. It's like I don't want to shit on it, you know? I want to say something nice about it. I don't want to shit on it. You're trying to make stuff in our country. You want to employ people to make this stuff in our country. You care about right to repair. It's like, throw me a fucking bone, man. There are some things you got wrong, says Rem Dog Cat. Explain. What are the some things? List the some things. What disappoints me above all here's what disappoints me. It's that you know damn fucking well that I work on MacBooks. You know that thing is not made for the chips and the boards that I'm working on. You have to know that. It's like if HAKKO was going to send me a device, they should send me HAKKO would know, send an FR810 to Lewis, don't send an 851 because an 851 is never going to be able to get these chips off the board. They tell you to use an SMD pull wire. I'm not using an SMD pull wire. Get the fuck out of here. So I'm supposed to change the way that I do I'm supposed to change my workflow because this thing is underpowered? No, that's not the way this works. I'm not going to use an SMD. I'm not going to stop using tweezers because the tool is not powerful enough. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. That is craziness. Oh. Beans. Chili. Oh, that's good stuff. Where is he reading these comments? I hear voices in my head. Here's something to point out that you technically weren't using it as specified. Yeah, I guess. I was hoping this thing would be better so that I don't come off like a biased piece of shit that's trying to just promote his own station that he sells. So I really wanted this thing to be better than the Atom. Because even if it is better than the Atom, you could always say, well, it's better, but it costs over twice as much. Man. What are you doing to me? I don't know. I'm not the type of guy that wants to change his workflow. SMD pull wire. Pull on my balls. Thirsty. I was getting bad vibes when you showed the marketing materials 2010 catalog. Yeah, you saw that it said 2010 on it. How'd your bike get damaged? The battery went on fire. There's not a lot on a bicycle that likes 650 Celsius. They were crazy to ever think sending it to you was a good idea. Yeah. Again, it's just not the right product for what I do. I tried to make that clear when I did the iPhone section. It's Deadeye, I have no idea. I don't know. That's up to you. Thank you very much, Abdullah. Sorry to hear about your dad. The Q-tip is quality. No, I know that the Q-tip was doing its job because it was a perfect seal around the area, but also it blows about as hard as a HAKKO 851. That's what this is for. This here is supposed to compete with the HAKKO 851. The HAKKO 851 blows at the same amount of power that this does. Actually, the HAKKO 851 has less airflow than this does, from my memory. Yeah, this blows around kind of a HAKKO 851 territory, maybe a little bit more. It's blowing the way it's supposed to. It's just, it's not designed for what I'm doing. So why the fuck are you sending me a tool that you know is going to fail? It's like if I know that you're traversing the mountainside in the desert and I give you a smart car to review instead of a Jeep, you know? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not even about whether it's a bad product. It's just, why would you give me the wrong product to review? You don't give a guy who has a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers traversing mountainsides, you know, a smart car and say, review this, because he's going to try to ride it up a fucking mountain and it's going to tumble down, it's going to explode, and he's going to say it sucks. Like, I think sending me a micro pencil was a strange decision. And again, with the subscriber count going up over almost to 1.3 million and the view count going up recently, I think this is going to be an important video just to remind manufacturers that sending me random stuff without doing some research is probably a bad idea. This is why I'm never going to be a real influencer. I'll never be a real influencer. I'll send it back to be nice. I don't expect to be able to keep this thing. All right. See y'all later.